What's on, movie fans? Miyaza 3K here, back with you for part 3 of my 2020-2021 movie haul. Oh boy, this is going to be tough to get off. Putting the price tag on cardboard boxes. Anyway, this is, there's no flap, put this in. Put it in here, alright. It's got a little booklet with it. This is a home video of, well, it's not a home video, I mean, I didn't make it. This is a DVD of Incubus. It is a alternative rock band that I like, and they are live at Red Rocks. It's a concert video there. My friend Chris gave this to me. It's a William Castle double feature, 13 Ghosts and 13 Frightened Girls. 13 Ghosts is a haunted house story. The old dark house has 13 ghosts, and you find out what happened to each one of them. And black and white, just spooky kids movie. A lot of monster kids like this movie because something they watched as a kid and they enjoyed it. And I think it featured, I think the main actor is a kid in it. And 13 Frightened Girls is about a bunch of teenage girls in a private school. They're an international lot of girls who are the daughters of ambassadors, heads of state, government officials, that type of group there, or clique there, I guess. And they start to, well, more so one of them starts to utilize her going to parties and all these political people and finding out government secrets, and she gets mixed up in trying to keep those secrets or give those secrets away, or she's writing notes to like the CIA and FBI, giving them the inside dope on what's going on in the world, and it's pretty funny. Funny and amusing, but she gets in a couple of sticky situations, and, but it's amusing. It's very, very good transfer too, very colorful. Good transfer on that one. This is Real Steel, a movie with Hugh Jackman. This movie it's a combination of a few things. It's that robot boxer episode of The Twilight Zone, Rocky, and The Champ. And so this guy he's sort of, I guess you can't see him manage boxing robots. There's a robot combat league, one that's professional, one that's underground, and he's got his own robot. He's got his own robot, and he fights other robots, and but his ex-wife dies, and suddenly his son is in his life, so he's got to drag him around, and it's a bonding story, and yeah, in the end, it's, you know, a triumphant kind of boxing match that goes on. Goes on with that, and it's Rocky with robots, a heartwarming movie, says Pete Hammond, Box Office Magazine. But it's got some really good special effects. If you like Rocky and you like Transformers, that is a movie to see. Real Steel. Vestron Video Collector's Series Blu-ray. Oh, Wraith. Now here's a movie that I never saw all of. I would always tune in to the latter half of this movie whenever it was on, and I would wonder why this car is running around killing teenagers. So finally I get to see the whole thing and find out why this car and its driver are running around killing other teenagers. And it's kind of it's a revenge story, not really. But yeah, I don't want to give away too much, but there isn't too much to it, really. It's just a guy in this supercar. It's a little bit supernatural. It's a revenge tale with young, pretty, well, they're not too pretty teenagers or young people. But anyway, well, that's the way they look on the cover anyway. They're not completely that fashionable, you know. Anyway, it's kind of like the Car, that 70s movie, only it doesn't really involve the devil in this one. But I don't know. It's like The Car Beats the Crow. I don't know, something like that. But it's amusing and a really good new transfer on that one. Got Welcome to Marwen. Let's see if I can get the sticker off here. Welcome to Marwen is a tale with Steve Carell, and he's a very introverted person. Occasionally likes to wear women's clothes, although they don't really focus on that too much in this movie. And he has this thing where he makes a model of his town and the people in it, and there's animated sequences where all these dolls and vehicles and things come to life. So it's interesting in that you see some stop motion animation in this. So Welcome to Marwen, a very amusing movie, imaginative and heartfelt. Let's see, yeah, Robert Zemeckis movie. And this one has a sticker too. This is Sam Raimi movie, I believe. Yep, directed by Sam Raimi. Guess what it is? It's Crime Wave. You were gonna say Evil Dead, didn't you? Blu-ray DVD combo pack. Oh, cool. Shout Factory. This was also called the XYZ Murders. It's a wild, over-the-top ride. A guy who, I believe he's mistaken for a murderer. Some bad guys are chasing him, maybe mafia guys or something like that, and he's trying to clear his name. He's got a girl in tow, and it's just over the top, kind of a borderline cartoonish kind of presentation, you know, Sam Raimi's quick, 1 second cuts kind of style that he is known for, and it's a really wild movie. Crime Wave was made in the early 80s. I believe, 1986. Westworld. It's based on a story by Michael Crichton. It was about a resort that you can go to. It's full of robots that look like people, and they're just programmed to be characters. It's sort of a, the animatronics that are in Disneyland, imagine if they were completely autonomous and walking around, interacting with you. And it's a tale of that. But one of them, something goes wrong with one of them, and becomes a threat to the guests there. Interesting tale. There's a sequel to it as well. It's called Future World, and well, you probably already have heard of the series that's on HBO now with Westworld, and what that series has done is combine the stories of Westworld and Future World into kind of a one interesting, well-made tale there. Aftermath is a drama about a plane crash, and has Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, and he's dealing with the grief of losing his family in that plane crash. And I picked it up because it was shot in Columbus and Cincinnati, so there's some recognizable things in it for me, and it's a really good story. It's a bleak story, though, so if you're not in the mood for bleakness, I would have kind of avoided, but if you like kind of a heavy drama, I would say watch that. Colossal is an interesting movie. It's half indie movie, half the indie movie trope of, you know, my life just took a big change and I'm going to go home and I'm going to visit the family, you know, that old indie movie trope. Let's see, but this one combines it with a kaiju movie. So there's a couple of big monsters running around, and there's a strange connection between the young lady in this and these monsters, and it has Anne Hathaway and Jason Sudeikis. Really neat movie, really neat movie. Pump Up the Volume, Christian Slater and Samantha Mathis. This is one in the pile of, I would say, the movies that made me. This was basically me in high school. So, just an introvert trying to get into the broadcasting business, which is very counterproductive, which is kind of strange. But anyway, this kid is trying to. He moved to Arizona from somewhere else, and he got some ham radio equipment, and now he's just has this pirate radio station going out to his. Well, he doesn't even know who he just kind of starts doing it, and it's more of an audio diary for him, just to kind of vent, and his high schoolers start to tune into him, and he becomes a cult hero, and there's also a story of some corruption going on at his school. So that's a really good tale. It's from Alan Moyle, who did Times Square and Empire Records. So if you like movies that are just kind of cool, I don't know, he always had this knack of doing movies that are just cool, and they have a cool soundtrack or cool music in them. And so if you like that, if you know, throw your way back machine to high school, check that one out. This is The Lathe of Heaven. This is a science fiction fantasy tale of a guy who he dreams things, and then the dreams come true, and the consequences there, and his scientist is trying to control his dreams and maybe even try to get his own life successful, profit, so to speak, off of him. And there are some interesting things happen to it, like he dreams of racial equality, and then he wakes up and like everybody's colored blue, and things like that. It's really neat tale. And this was originally aired on public broadcasting stations. So I believe it's from the 70s, something like that. Let's see, it has a title. 1979. It has Bruce Davison in it. You might know from The Wave or X-Men. Good movie. Polyester, which was originally released in Odorama. John Waters movie. So you would go to the theater, the thing would flash on the screen, a number, number 1 would flash on the screen, and you would have your card, Odorama card, and you would scratch and sniff number 1 and find out what it is. It's again over the top tale like Crime Wave. It's just overacted and yeah, greatly overacted. Of a suburban family is just goes straight down the tubes. There's a divorce. The kids are messed up. The daughter's on drugs. The son is into a weird kink, and Tab Hunter shows up and ends up trying to bilk her out of the divorce money, and it's just a crazy, wild ride into suburban hell, but it's kind of a humorous at the same time, kind of a dark humor, and but it's just crazy. A must see. Cashback is kind of a low budget tale. It's a movie from the UK, but they were inspired by American independent movies. So there's a bunch of young guys work at a grocery store. In particular, one that's just he's more of an art student, but he has insomnia, so he decides to just do something at nighttime because he can't sleep. So he starts working nights at a grocery store. And so again, a movie that made me, I used to work at a grocery store at night, so I found it very amusing. If you like that, what's that Superstore show? I think it's on NBC right now, something like that. If you like that kind of thing, but a little bit more rated R, check that one out. Cashback. Midnight Movies. From the margin to the mainstream. It's a documentary about midnight movies. Rocky Horror Picture Show, Eraserhead, Pink Flamingos, Night of the Living Dead, and El Topo. Really, those are the main movies that they focus on in this documentary, but there's just a lot of... There were a few other movies that make their circuit now. Nowadays, it would be Showgirls or The Room, and but this is how it all started. A lot of talking heads, critics, directors talking about their favorite midnight movies. This is the Blu-ray of Ginger Snaps, a movie about sisters who it's kind of a female version of American Werewolf, really. One of the sisters gets bitten by a werewolf and starts to change and kill people and kill animals, and it's just the two sisters trying to deal with this crazy situation. Very bloody movie. So, and yeah, I feel like there's some dead animals in it if you don't like that kind of thing. But other than that, it's a really cool movie. This is an import. Times Square. This movie I just mentioned about Pump Up the Volume has yet to be released over here in the States. This one, either if it ends up being region free, great. If not, then I have to like convert it to a file and watch it off the file. But I don't have a region-free player right now, so. But this I had to order the VHS. You can still get a couple of bucks for, or the Laserdisc maybe. I think it's on Laserdisc. But it has yet to be officially released over here. I heard a rumor that Kino Lorber is doing it. Hopefully that is true, because it needs help. This movie definitely needs to be have its color and brightness adjusted. But this was a pretty good copy. It's widescreen, and it's again kind of a sisterhood tale, like Ginger Snaps, but there's no horror in it. It's about a young lady with a mental illness meets up with a city government official's daughter. She's just going through her girl drama, and he thinks that she's crazy, puts her away, and then they meet in the hospital, and they just run away together, and not live off the land, but live in the crevices and cracks of New York City. So, and they become kind of a cult leader. They become popular. They become a cult leader because of the help of this DJ played by Tim Curry, and they call them the Sleaze Sisters. And they're just kind of running around pulling pranks and getting on the radio once in a while, and they just become popular, and it all comes to culmination in Times Square. It's a really cool movie, cool music, new wave music of 1980. So, good movie. Hope that gets a Blu-ray very soon. 9 is a fantastical CG animated story about spirits inhabiting these not really organic creatures, but built creatures, transferring of life's energy into certain things, and those things come alive, and they're running around in a kind of a post-apocalyptic world, trying to, find whatever MacGuffin they're after. It's a kind of I wouldn't call it a dark tale, but it's an odd tale, kind of like Coraline. Just kind of had a not a bleakness to it, but a darkness to it, a dark side to it. But it's really interesting and a very well done movie. Stunningly original animated masterpiece. CBS TV, Brian Erdy. Cool movie. I believe, yeah. Producers Tim Burton and Tamir Beckham-Betoff, if I'm saying that right. So, this is a documentary. It's called The Wrecking Crew. This was a group of musicians that were behind all of the music that you would hear on TV in the movies. A group of musicians that hopped around to different popular bands at the time, and they would come together, and they're in California or wherever, and make the music of the Monkees and the Brady Bunch and Scooby-Doo. It was just a documentary about that group and interchangeable group of people. So it's really cool, documentary. Weird Science, 80s craziness. It was John Hughes written, right? Yeah. Written and directed by John Hughes. A couple of teenage boys. It's Frankenstein tale, only they decide to make a hot chick. And while the parents are away, and she's like so super cool. She puts on a cool party. They run around with her, but they're like super nerds, so they're not popular. They want to be popular, and they try to use her to get popular. It's a very crazy, fantastical science fiction. All right, quick jump cut there. My chip ran out of space on the camera, so let's continue. We have Deadpool, a Marvel movie about a guy who has amazing healing powers and decides to become a hero slash hired gun. A rated R movie. It's almost like a what if Robin Williams became a superhero kind of thing. Good movie. Still have to get the sequel though. We have Nerve, movie with Emma Roberts. It's about it takes place in New York City, and it's about a game. A game is on the internet where people watch people doing dares and people being dared to do certain things, and they kind of get money for it. And they just kind of each time they up the ante, and the ante keeps becoming something a little bit more and more dangerous. That's a good movie. Lionsgate movie. Let's see, we got another Vestron Collector's Video. Double feature, Waxwork and Waxwork 2. It's about some people stumble into a wax museum, and each scene that they have in this wax museum becomes kind of a time travel kind of thing. You can kind of fall into it, and that person is taken back to that time, and that in this case a dangerous situation. They try to get out of that. And then Waxworks 2 is, well, kind of more of the same, really. They're both really good movies. I like Waxworks because it somewhat resembles the old Hammer movies, so it's really cool. I think it has Patrick McNee in it, who was actually in some of those Hammer movies. And there's another one that my friend Chris gave me. It's called Bullet. Steve McQueen. I can never, I can't remember exactly what goes on in this. Let's see. All I remember, the big thing about this movie is the now classic car chase. One of the screen's all-time best, Leonard Maltin. He's a cop, and he's just going after the bad guys, so. Edgy thriller. Got a winner for Best Film Editing, 1968. Cool. Cop movie. We've got a couple of zombie movies here. We have Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. What happens when there's a zombie apocalypse and the only people around are a bunch of Boy Scouts. You can utilize their Boy Scout guide skills to keep you safe. Scout's Honor. It's comedy. It's really funny, really funny movie. And more zombies here in a local movie. It's called Bong of the Living Dead from Gamma Knife Pictures, I believe. Is it? Okay, maybe I'm wrong, sorry. Backward Slate Productions, Scream Team releasing. But I'm thinking of Gamma Knife because you can get this at the same website where you can pick up the Sleeper that I mentioned in the previous video. So you can go to that website and get both movies. This movie was actually shot in my neighborhood, and in Columbus. So it's obviously awesome. So if it's Cheech and Chong, what if Cheech and Chong were in Shaun of the Dead kind of thing? So it's a pretty funny movie. It's a good little indie movie, backyard movie. Very funny. Yeah, totally should check it out. All right, and that is the end of part 3 of what I have picked up across these past couple of years. I should do this more often, but you know, whatever. I keep waiting for these days that I shave my beard or something like that, but having to wear a mask these past couple of years, you just don't shave very often. But you know, it doesn't really matter. You know, you just got to do what you got to do, and after work, I'm just too tired to get on camera. But again, you got to do what you got to do. I don't have to do this, of course. I just do it just for the heck of it. And well, the next couple of videos will be convention videos and some unboxings and the 3D haul. I have almost as many 3D movies to go through that I've picked up the past couple of years. So stay tuned, and I will see you later.